Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Philly Phone Book, a podcast archive. I am your host, Gideon Carroll McDonald, and with me today is a wonderful human here in the Philly theater scene. We got a playwright, an actor, a director, a TTRPG specialist. We got August Hakvaag in the room.
It's me! Hello!
Yay!
Woo!
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good. It is a lovely day outside.
It is. It
nice.
is. We've hit the in-between of summer and fall where it's not too hot, but then if you stand in the sun too long, it is.
It's a little warm.
Then you move over and then you're fine.
Yeah. My AC in my office is really cold, so, it's great.
Yeah, being up here, hopefully the air is going to kick in even more.
Oh, wonderful.
But, heat rises.
Heat rises.
So, but yeah, thanks for being here. Super excited to chat.
Of course.
This is going to be a great opportunity for me to get to know you, as well as the people listening. So why don't we have a little bit of an introduction?
Sure.
Who you are, your background, where you see yourself as in our community, and take it away.
Yeah, I'm August. I'm a butch theater artist. I'm from rural Pennsylvania, Tioga County. If you know where the Corning Museum of Glass is, we're a half hour south of that.
Whoa.
If you've ever been to the Little League World Series in Williamsport, we are an hour north of that. Those are our two closest landmarks.
Look at that.
Yeah, real middle of nowhere. I came to Philly for college. I studied acting at Temple, and then I stayed here ever since. Yeah, after I studied acting, during the pandemic I started writing a lot more, so now I would say that's like my main hat. I still act a fair amount, both on stage and in podcast spaces. I've directed, I've sound designed, I've stage managed, and now I'm just out here. I like telling stories, I think is the thing that I like to do and say, because I feel like it's the thing that encompasses everything. I like telling stories, and I like telling stories here, because I just feel like in Philly you get to meet personally a lot more people and a lot more different people, and it's been a lovely few years since graduating college, getting to really come into my own in this city. So it's been very nice.
Awesome. Yeah, that's so great. Has theater always been in your life growing up? Has that been something you've been used to? Or
yeah, absolutely. My dad went to school for film.
Oh, cool.
At Temple, so he was the one who suggested I go there. My mom she just switched jobs. My mom was a reporter, and they met at a creative writing degree, so storytelling has always been very present. My dad got me into theater. He did stage management when film work wasn't really happening. He worked in opera for a really long time.
Whoa.
While not being able to read music, which I think is insane.
Yeah.
So it's always been around. I was in church plays, school plays, community theater plays, K through 12. As soon as I could start talking and I felt confident enough, even when I didn't feel confident enough, they were shooing me on that stage because I was very shy as a child.
Oh, cool.
Did not last long. And I was doing theater all through high school, and I was like, I think I want to go do this for college, because one, I'm very passionate about it, and two, that was kind of one of the few jobs that I could tell everybody around me, no, I'm going to college for theater. I have to leave. I can't stay in rural Pennsylvania because there aren't any schools for it up there.
Not really.
And you certainly can't be paid to do it up there. And even adults who would never dream of living in a big city and never would dream of moving away from my hometown, even they were like, no, that makes complete sense. You can't do that here. So,
just across the board, everybody understood.
Everybody immediately understood, and it only became even more clear the more and more lesbian I started presenting, So it was pretty clear that, that's what August is going to go do.
They were like, oh, yeah, okay.
This all tracks.
Makes sense.
I believe a friend from high school's dad said, you really blossomed when you left, and I went, thanks, Jim.
Appreciate you,
Jim.
It's always a Jim.
It's always Jim.
It's always a Jim.
I love Jim. I saw him recently. He's great.
Shout out Jim.
Shout out to Jim.
Shout out Jim. Has Philly always been on your radar? Because, like, when I hear the story all the time, especially for those who have been in theater growing up, doing the whole middle school, high school plays, New York is always what gets talked about.
Sure.
And I know for myself, especially since, I grew up here.
Sure.
And so I never even had the desire to leave.
Sure.
It was very much like, I know that the theater world is wonderful here. UArts was right there. Temple was right there. I was like, I gotta stick around. What's the point in going to a city right over there? But for those that don't necessarily have access to a city right away, Philly's not always everybody's first pick.
Yeah. That is my secret little Uno reverse there. I say all of that with the knowledge that until age 10 I lived in Manhattan.
Whoa! Okay.
I was born and lived in Manhattan, and we had a crazy, just a bunch of things lined up. I was leaving my elementary school, and my dad found out that he could work from home, and this was in 2008, right?
Okay,
so a long time ago. And we found all this stuff kind of started lining up, and they were going to raise the rent. And my dad turned to my mom and was like, where do you want to move? Because we can't do this anymore.
We out of here.
We're out of here. So they picked North Central PA for a myriad of reasons. And so, I think the impulse would be to go back to New York in that sense. But, I knew I kind of wanted, at the time I thought of it as a stepping stone city. Because I was like, okay, if you're coming at this, like it or not, now you're from a rural area, and you don't know what city living is anymore.
Yeah, true.
Within the context of being an adult. So how about, state school, it's affordable, it's a good program, and we were chatting about it with, some strangers once. We were just making small talk with some folks, at a county fair, I think, and they were like, oh, have you, looked at Philly? They got, a really strong theater scene. And me and my mom were like, yeah, we kind of were, but thanks for the tip, I guess. And then, I got here, and I was like, oh, I see what they mean. Okay, yeah, this is a really happening town. And then during the pandemic, I thought about it. I was like, what if you just, went to New York? What if you did that? And I was like, it's expensive there.
It is.
It's expensive there. And a lot of my friends are in Philly. And so I told myself, okay, move back to Philly. If only for the cost saving, and see what work you get. And if you can apply to both. That's what's also great about Philly.
That's
you can
true.
Continue to work in New York if you want to. And at that point I had. And so I was like, okay, if you get to a point where you're getting more work in one place over the other, you should move to that place.
Right.
And there was a minute where New York and Philly were pretty 50-50 for a little while there. But then I got into PlayPenn Foundry. I got my current position, and my partner's family all lives in Philly, and now I'm like, right, now I'm never gonna leave. I love it here. It's great.
You got your roots.
I got my roots. I put some roots down. I was like, actually, never mind. Philly's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, great. Yeah, I feel like, Philadelphia as a, metropolitan area doesn't feel like that in the best way.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm biased. I always say this, just because it's I adore the energy. It's made sense to me. I've learned everything I needed to at an early age. But, I've spent time in New York. I've gone around. I've visited places, and my friends, especially those that have gone to New York to pursue what they're doing, especially in the theater realm. And something about this energy and the people really solidifies, oh, the art here is gonna hit you a little harder.
Yeah.
And it's gonna feel a little bit more rewarding when you get a project done. And, obviously, all power to those that work in New York and make it happen, because that's a feat in itself. But yeah, Philadelphia is just a wonderful place.
It's so wonderful. Yeah. And, I remember a former boss of mine for, a production company I was working as a PA on. I remember her, trying to explain to a higher up corporate person, well, we can just ask a friend. We don't need to rent these chairs. We can ask the personal connection that I have, because that's how Philly works.
Right.
They give you 50 chairs. In 6 months, I might be running their soundboard.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah,
and that's
yeah,
just kind of, like, there's this very, very real sense of camaraderie that, like, has always been nice, like, through Temple and its alum network, and then getting into Philly, and it's not just the alum network, it's everybody. And I was like, oh,
yeah,
this is lovely.
Yeah.
Everybody knows somebody, and you're all friends. Great.
Literally, when we started, right before we started recording, we were like, here's all the people we both know.
Let's play the game where we all say things, people that we know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's lovely. So your family was clearly, like, steeped in art as well. So storytelling just made sense to you growing up? Was it like they encouraged you to really, like, discover maybe what theater feels like, what filmmaking is, or was it just that you were kind of surrounded by their interests and it just kind of worked?
I think it would have been like it's a little bit of both. If I had, like, shown an interest in, like, oil painting or filmmaking in a more serious degree, they would have, like, been like, okay, yeah, absolutely, sure. Yeah. Like, how do you want to engage with that? Like, how, like, they were very supportive in that way. I got very lucky in that, like, we went to a town that actually had a community theater in it, which was in and of itself pretty rare for that area. The next closest, like, youth theater was about an hour and a half away in Williamsport.
Okay, yeah.
And I did drive there and be in some shows because that's what I had to do.
Of course.
But, like, there are, like, plenty of other interests that, like, through high school, college have, like, they were really fun while I had them, and they've passed to the side. Like, I illustrated and published a webcomic for 4 years.
Oh, whoa,
and
cool.
They were really cool about that. Like, I went to conventions, and I held little signs that said, ask me about my webcomic, and they took me there. And so, like, they've always been I have good parent privilege is the thing that, like, I always kind of have to, like, preface with. Like, I have great parents, and they're wonderful people.
Yeah.
And they've always been very supportive of, like, whatever weird thing I'm doing, as long as I'm doing it with a plan and in a way that, on the face of it, doesn't seem foolish, you know?
Of course, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
And so it just is a lovely...
It's nice.
Thing. Like my mom does visual arts, and also now production design, primarily. Especially, and we both work at the same children's theater right now.
Oh, cute.
And so being able to kind of find my voice in both, like, music and theater, and having my parents just be like, yeah,
go for it,
makes sense.
Yeah.
How do you want to approach it? And it's like college and this and that, and they're like, yep,
yeah,
cool.
Sure.
And I'm like, oh, that's a privilege that I have to really be aware of and be thankful for, and offer to those that need it. And
absolutely, like the countless music lessons and absolutely everything. They're great folks, and I credit them a lot with, like, how I think about things, just in general.
Dope.
Yeah, it's nice.
How was your time at Temple?
It was pretty good, you know. Clearly, I didn't have a horrible time because now I work there, you know?
Yes.
So that's
yes, you do.
That's what I tell people when people ask, like, oh, you're, like, an alum. And, like, to be clear, like, I spent 5 years away. Right. I feel like if I had gone from undergrad and then somehow immediately got in as the box office manager, that might have felt a little weird. I don't even know if they let you do that, you know? I don't know if they'd be allowed to hire that recent of a grad.
Hard to say.
But, like, having that distance after I did the starving artist thing for 5 years. I was financially independent and doing gigs and gigs and gigs and gigs and day jobs and all this stuff. And so by the time I got tired of that, where I was like, my body cannot handle this stress anymore of not knowing if I'm going to make rent every month. I need a solid job. I need health insurance. I'm turning 26. Yeah. I was really lucky in that I was in a place where I was like, okay, what's around? Oh, this opening is here. And the onboarding was so easy once I had the job.
Yeah.
Because most of learning that job is learning what the semester is and who the professors are.
Right.
And, like, all the different personalities.
A people game.
And yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, like, who's in charge of what resource and who you can ask for help on this. And I knew all of that already. So it was an incredibly easy transition. And so, like, I tell people now, like, clearly I didn't have a bad time in undergrad because I came back. Yeah. And now they do pay me to be there now, which does help.
That's very different. That is a very different energy.
My time there, I went because I wanted, like, the well-roundedness of it all.
Yeah.
I really loved all the professors there. I have met so many lifelong friends who I work with on the regular.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I learned a lot. I think like the big thing was that I was allowed to like take a bunch of different classes. I changed my minor twice over the course of my studies. I ended with a gender, sexuality, and women's studies minor, but I started in art and then I switched to film. And then I considered going to political science, and I was like, that's too much. That's too much dry theory for me, and I'm not going to be able to do that. So I switched to that. But, like, in hand with that, like, I also could, like, study abroad in a... I went to their Tokyo campus, where they had no theater classes. And I just got to go and do my gen eds and a few history courses that I needed for my minor.
But in Tokyo.
Oh
my god.
And so I just made a point. I was like, I'm just going to go see a lot of theater while I'm here, and that'll count. And so I'll...
I mean, fair.
Fair enough. And I did. I saw street performances, and I saw, like, actually, like, contemporary theater, and I saw some kabuki theater, and I was like, yeah, this is... All right, paid for itself. I'm done.
So
I've done something that none of my classmates can say that I did. And now we're here. It was great.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I feel like it really teaches you a scrappiness.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you aren't, like, getting into school shows, professors are, in the same breath, giving you opportunities in town. And that was the kind of student I was. I was not in a single Temple Theater production on stage or, like, in a position that, like, I fought for.
Right.
I did student work stuff, and I was in town stage managing.
Oh, cool, yeah.
Just, like, off the cuff, just to try and meet people.
Yeah.
That's what I did. And it was great. I feel like that was, like, the best part of it. I knew people when I graduated, and that really helped.
Yep. Yeah. With my very limited time there,
yes,
I only had the year. But in that year, I felt very thankful for the professors and their energy in the room. Like, I took classes with Amina Robinson and Ian Rose, and just people that were like, if you want to do something, just do it.
Just do it.
Like, it was a really refreshing take on how to approach my future in this field. And, I mean, obviously I got those same teachings from UArts, but in that energy that I then brought to this new school, being able to be like, oh, yeah, I can still make this happen, and... you know, these people are going to be in my corner, and I don't even know you. Yeah. I felt like Philly really lends itself to the people part of the game in a way that is so unique and so kind. I had, you know, Amina just be like, look, people are casting over here. You should go to this. You should make sure that you're in these rooms. Yeah. Here's the people I know. We're going to have 3 different master classes with somebody that I think is important in the field. And it's like, oh, right. That's the person that works at the Wilma. Yeah, like, it's always something like that where it was like, oh, I'm getting my roots now.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think Temple is very, very good for that.
And what's great is that it's like contagious, because now I'm sitting in the box office and I see like a casting call for a theater I worked at 3 years ago, and I go, yoink, and I send it to like just the box office kids. Cool. And I go, don't say I never did nothing for you, and I send it. I do it like once a semester, and I hope some of them take me up on it, because I keep an eye out for them, and I like try to connect people, because I'm like, yeah, no, this is like the best part. Yeah. The best part is what happens after, now that you've met everybody. You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Ah, awesome. And then you continued your studies, right, with the gender and sexuality?
Yes, I left undergrad for 5 years, didn't do any schooling. I got into the PlayPenn Foundry program.
Yes.
Like 2 years ago, and I was like, okay, cool, I don't have to think about grad school, because this is a 3-year program.
Totally.
I show up, it's a writer's group, essentially. We share pages, we chat, industry stuff. And I was like, cool, great, I don't need to go to grad school. And then I got this position, and I can take classes for essentially $200.
Oh, cool.
Instead of the $2,000 that it usually costs. And so I was like, okay, what can I get while I'm here then? So right now I'm finishing, this year will be my 2nd year And at the end of it, I'm finishing a Gender, Sexuality, and Women's Studies Master's Certificate, which is not a full master's degree. It's not a full master's
Still
degree.
pretty rad, though.
But it is a master's degree.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I'm doing that, and, like, by the end of it, I will have another full-length play, because what's fun about grad school, I'm finding out as a 27-year-old, is that, like, people come to grad school from different points in their lives and with different backstories and points of view. And so you can kind of do, like, whatever you want in terms of, like, your projects and your theses, as long as it's relevant. And I was like, I can write a feminist play. I can do that. And I was talking over with my professor, and she was like, yeah, you could do that. So I'm finishing that this year. And we're just gonna kind of see how many of these certificates I can just kind of rack up while I'm here, because I can. Like, I want to take the dialects class with Melanie Julian, because I never got to take it in undergrad. Yeah. So I was like, what if I, like, audited that? What if I could just go and do it? And that's really the benefit of this job, is that I'm sitting there taking random classes. Yeah. I'm going into my 3rd year, and I think, I'll have taken, like, 6 classes at this point, just because I like doing it.
Well, that's so awesome, because the education is just at your fingertips. Yeah. And, like, being an undergrad, you have this sense of, okay, well, I got the goal. I got to take the classes I need. Mm-hmm. And then you know, a lot of the times you get the luxury of being able to take what you want and, like, you know, switch it up a bit, be like, oh, I can dip my toe in this thing and this thing. But the freedom of being like, okay, now I get to just learn
whatever I want.
Which is so cool.
It's so cool. It's so lovely. Like, there's no requirements.
Yeah.
There's hardly any requirements. I'm having a blast. I'm, like, bugging the head of playwriting. I'm, like, knocking on her door and being like, hey, Jenny, can we do an independent study where we just kind of show up whatever, and I just kind of give you pages and you just kind of look at them? She's like, yeah.
Sure, why not?
Cool. Sure. Yeah.
Big fan of this.
Cool.
And the fact that then new, like, track of education and that experience then just gave you a whole new play. Yeah. Like, that's just so sick.
Giving me two. Giving me two at this point.
Look at that.
Yeah, no, like, my first year I took advanced playwriting with a bunch of undergrads. Because I was like, I want to try taking a class, but I don't want to be at, like, a graduate level yet, in case, like, that's a lot of work. I'm not ready for it. And so I took it with a bunch of undergrads, and I was like, no, I'm going to, like, write a draft of... I looked at the professor, and I was like, hey, man, like, I'm going to do what you're asking me to do, but this is the goal. I have an idea, and I'd like to write it through your class. And so that's where the superconductor came from, the first draft of that.
Yeah.
The first 45-page draft of that I said was done. I'm using a lot of error quotations in this interview. Yeah. Unfortunately. I claimed was done and wasn't, but I did get it done. So there was that. That's nice.
Yay. Well, that's awesome. I want to, like, absolutely pick your brain about all of this. But before we move on, I'd just love to know, with the time that you've now given to Philadelphia, you know, being someone that has their roots here, making it happen, calling it home, what has it taught you? Has it given you a lesson that's been like, oh, I am a different person now, I can approach things with a more, you know, widened look? Because I think the city, as kind as it is, can be ruthless or real, and I think that goes hand in hand, and I just want to know, like, you've gotten a lot of time here, so.
I feel like the biggest thing that, like, Philly as, like, a city and community gave me was, like, in my hometown, I felt, maybe I wasn't, maybe this was self-imposed, but I certainly felt hyper visible, especially when I moved back I was home for, like, 8 months during the pandemic, and at that point I had transitioned, and I just remember, even in high school when I hadn't yet, I was very loud about my politics, and I was very loud about, like, my belief system, and I always felt very visible. And I remember moving back to Philly after I had moved home, and I made the choice, like, no, I'm not going to do New York, I'll go back to Philly, that's where my pals are. Truthfully, a friend, like, had a room opening up and needed a subletter, so I was like, yeah, I'll do that, that'll work, that'll be fine. Yeah. And I remember getting there and immediately relaxing, because I was like, oh, I'm invisible here. Oh. Thank God! You know, like, it feels a lot more like I know there are people who look and act like me and think like me and have the same political beliefs that I do. Yep. And like I know they're here, and even just knowing that is like such a strange weight off of my brain. So I think that's like kind of the biggest thing was like that sense of anonymity that like every once in a while, even like in a theater sense, I can retreat back into. Like, yeah, like okay, whatever, I could be having a moment, but if I need to take a mental health break, I can, and I have, and nothing bad happened. I took my 4-month break. I said, I can't audition for anything. I'm burnt out. I can't apply for anything. I'm burnt out. And then when I was ready to come back, I reached out to all my friends. I was like, hey, I'm ready to come back. And they all went, great, here. Oh. What do you want to do? Let's go. So that's kind of the best thing that I can think of. For.
I mean, first of all, good on you for being able to take a break. The fact that you even just told me that, I'm like, that's brilliant.
I had a huge breakdown.
Well, congratulations for getting through it.
I did. Yeah, it was just I was really tired at the end of it, and I was like, you know what? I had one really bad, disappointing rejection email, and I was like, I just need 4 months. And it was badly timed. It was from like May to September, and that's when all the season auditions are. But I was like,
yes.
No, I have to, or I'm gonna like jump in the skookle, and then who knows what'll happen.
And come out completely different.
Who knows who that's gonna be? So I was like, I can't. And like some really wonderful things happened during that time. So like, I'm a big proponent of take a break. Take the break. It'll be here. We're young.
We're young.
You have so much theater to make. Take the break. It's fine.
I hope you're all hearing that.
Yeah.
I hope I'm hearing that.
Like, I get it. Momentum is important. I get it. I understand that, but if you see a chance to take a break, take the break.
That's such a good... You've given me a lesson. Look at that.
I'm shaking Gideon in the studio right now.
Oh, wow, yeah. And the fact that you were able to do that and then be comforted. Like it was a comfortable environment that you were then able to retreat and then come back to.
Yeah.
And honestly, I can fully agree with the environment that the city provides, especially in today's political climate. It has been so wonderful and calming when my brain is so loud and my internet is so loud to then feel like so sure that my community and the greater of that community are like-minded and keeping each other safe.
And like I can find other rooms that I don't know anybody in, but like have the same vibe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I went to a concert the other day, and I was like, wow, what a relaxing space where I know we're all on the same wavelength. This is great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out. Just shout out everyone.
Shout out.
Thank you for that vibe. Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I want to get into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
So first, you're a playwright.
I am a playwright.
As you've mentioned before, that is the hat you like to wear currently and the most.
Yeah.
So, I mean, going back to just wanting to tell stories, that is the prime example of that. You are you are creating a story to then give to other people.
Yeah.
How do you approach it? What sparks that joy and that interest? And please just tell me.
Yeah, no, I wish I knew.
Yeah, fair. Absolutely fair.
I am very much at the whims of like what inspires me at any point. Like it's kind of random. My partner calls it feeding the inspiration machine because I'm floating through life and I'm watching movies and I'm listening to music and I'm reading books and like I'll read articles and like things will start to poke out and I'll go, that's interesting and that's interesting and I'm putting them all into the little sausage machine that's like grrr in my head and slowly I'll have enough things where I'm like, well, what if there was a guy dealing with that? You know?
If there was a person.
What if
I make this person?
What if there was a little guy, in my household, this is a Tumblr thing, but we call them our little blorbos.
Oh, Fern.
Yeah,
Fern
this is our little blorbo. Okay, I have a little blorbo. Now what do they want to do? And so I like telling stories about big things and how they are impacting a small person. Because I feel like how someone is interacting and reacting to things that like their brain or body can't actually comprehend all of.
Yeah.
Really tells you about their personality and like who they are as a person. So that's always kind of interested me. So I tend to pick like something that's rather large in scale. Right now I'm working on a piece that's about theoretical physics.
Cool.
And it's the spark for it was in 2023. There was a report went out that a lab in, I believe, Seoul, created a room temperature superconductor, which is something that's purely theoretical.
Yeah.
That is a technology that does not exist, but if it did, it would be kind of cool, and it would look very sci-fi, and we'd have like electricity everywhere, like wasteless electricity all over the world, and MRIs could be set up in fields and not in crazy magnetic rooms.
Oh, wow.
And trains could float, and high-speed travel would be possible, and all this stuff. And this report went out that someone had figured it out, and then several other reports was like, there's no way that this lab in Seoul figured this out. Right. And then, like, a couple days later, no, so the lab in Seoul did not actually figure it out. But it was really cool for a second. What if they had?
We all got really excited.
The physicists all got really excited all over the place. And I was like, wow, like, it's been a minute since we've had, like, a large scale, like, big scientific thing happen.
Yeah.
And so, like, thinking about that, and then we're in this moment of a rising class consciousness, and these things in history tend to go hand in hand. And I was like, well, usually we have technology then begets a social movement, like the printing press.
Right.
What if it was the other way around? What if it was a social movement-esque thing is the reason we are able to unlock something like this, something theoretical.
Oh, wow.
And that's a big topic. That's huge. That's a very big topic. And then I created 6 people to deal with that.
Of course.
And that's the springboard for like a lot of things. Just like thinking of something at that level, like how do you deal with that? I'm going to make this person deal with that. And I'm going to put them in a room and I'm going to make them deal with that.
Oh, wow.
Because hopefully at the end of the day, what I'm trying to do is find the answer for myself. Like, how would I deal with this? What do I actually think about this? Because I need to hear myself talk to know what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And I need to, like, see it written out loud to see... Written out loud. I need to see it written to know what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And so, like, a lot of... Kind of, like, when I know I'm done or when I know I've hit something is, like, oh, did I figure out my own problem? Did I figure out what I would respond to this? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Now what? Yeah.
That is fascinating.
It is a backwards way of going about it, I found out.
But it makes total sense.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, here's the situation. Here's some guys.
And now how are they going to react to that situation?
Huh.
I don't know.
Dang.
Yeah.
With having an approach with such a grand scale, how do you then approach smaller scales? Do you still view it as like a grand moment, even if it is distilled to like a bedroom or a brain or a moment? Or do you approach that a little differently?
I like to, throughout the whole piece and then like, individually within scenes, I like playing with scope. Okay, so even if it is big scope versus small scope, that's still scope. And those things, if they are in like contrast with each other within a piece, can be very effective on showing like what's happening on like a macro or a micro level. So like for my play Acute Exposure, which MK talked about on this show, like it is essentially pretty micro. It's got 2 high schoolers in a bedroom figuring out they like each other, right? But the macro is human civilization will live for another 10,000 years if we're lucky. How do we tell them something if they don't have the same language, written language, or knowledge as us? that is an impossible problem.
Yes.
And so, like, the juxtaposition of those two scopes is what I find interesting. So, like, the ping-ponging, I'm like, yes, give me a tiny room with tiny people in which to talk about this big thing that, like, they can't quite figure out or conceptualize. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you the kind of writer that approaches a play with knowledge as to how it looks already? Or are you the kind of person that's like, I'm going to throw everything at the wall. I don't care what it has to be. I'm gonna write these crazy stage directions. I'm just going to do whatever I want, and then we're going to figure it out.
Yeah, I tend to come in with a pretty, like, solid setting, and then the characters are very wibbly-wobbly throughout.
And that's a boon for the actor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, for some shows, I'm like, yeah, and then, like, some parts of them are gonna glow, and then there's projections, and things are happening, and things are falling. Like, like Sarah Rule has a stage direction, plums fall from the ceiling in Eurydice. Which, like, what do you do with that? I don't know.
Plums?
But that's not Sarah's problem. That's the director's problem. And so I learned that very early. And was like, wait, as long as I'm communicating something, it doesn't matter if it can be done. So in Acute Exposure, like, we have constellations showing up, and we have, like, glowing handprints showing up, and they're, like, in a bedroom and outside and in a classroom, all in quick succession, and in, like, the complete opposite way, in the Superconductor, they're in one lab.
Okay.
And it's a real-time play, so there are no scene breaks.
Oh,
so it
cool.
is, they clock in at 9, the play ends at 11.
That's sick.
And a bunch of things have happened.
Yeah.
So I tend to start with a setting. I also tend to start with, like, a rule.
Yeah.
And, like, it's either, like for it's a real-time play. I don't get scene breaks. I can't cheat. Everything has to build on itself. That was the rule for that one. And then anything else can be whatever it is, but that's the rule.
Yeah.
For my first play, As I Was, I had 4 seasons, and then I had an epilogue and a prologue, and I was in this workshop, and they were like, you need to add a scene, and I was like, but the symmetry, and I was like, okay, fine, one extra scene in the middle, and that's it. That's the rule, because it has to be even, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, I have, like, these weird structural rules. In this piece I'm going to write next year, like, I want to get into columns. You know? That's, I was telling my partner about it yesterday. They're like, you're in your column era. And I was like, yeah.
Something about columns.
Stereophonic is written in columns.
Oh.
Yeah, because they got the recording booth and the, like, the outside of it.
Oh, gotcha.
So they have the dialogue on 2 completely different columns.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, for depending on what room they're in. I saw that and I was like, do I need to rewrite the Superconductor? And then I was like, no, I can't. I don't have time.
Let's let this be its thing.
That's going to keep doing its thing.
Yeah. I mean, you got the rule makes total sense, because then it informs everything else.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That is clever. As an actor, also, because you have the acting experience behind you, also have directing experience behind these then informed moments of writing, would you say that you can look at it from all angles now? And has that changed?
I try to. Yeah, I think I've gotten better at it. I think it's been so fun, like, watching other people direct my work. I think as, like, a director, I don't think I can, like, actually look at my work as a director anymore.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, that's for somebody else. That's not something I can do. But, like, as an actor, absolutely. I sit there and I go, well, I feel this way about the character, but I don't know if it has to be, like, set in stone or not. And if I do feel very strongly about it, then yeah, okay, then they can go into the script. But, like, I like providing outlets for actors to, like, make choices and make those calls, because there's so many different ways that you can do things. Like, when we were doing Acute Exposure, we had callbacks, and someone did it in a way that, like, I had never seen before. And I was like, whoa, I've never seen that take on it. I don't know if, like, the text supports it all, but I am so, like, I'm so lovingly surprised by my own work right now. That's so cool. And so, like, I'm glad that I'm able to, like, leave that room for actors. Because after a certain point, it's not my story anymore. I kind of have to, like, be like, okay, you have the bones.
Yeah.
Go perform it, I guess. You know.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in a lot of rooms where either the writer does approach as such, where they're a tool, they're there for help, but a lot of the times they're not even there in the room, and then others, which have been less enjoyable, where a writer is like a little bit protective in a way that then becomes destructive to what the room is providing. Because, I mean, theater, as we all know, is innately collaborative. It is the collaborative art form. Because everybody plays all these different parts that all make one big thing that we all get to enjoy together, and it's always different every single time and depends on the people. And so, would you say that you have been able to let go of the pieces easier now? Has that always come to you easily? And do you find yourself in the room often? Or do you like to just be like, okay, have fun?
I'm sure that there are like points in my career that people can point at and be like, August, you were very precious about that. You know, like, I'm sure that those exist, but I feel like I hit a point where I go, all right, I don't got to deal with this anymore. This is done. Like, acute exposure is done. I'm done writing it.
And that's an awesome thing to be able to say.
It feels great. It feels fantastic. And, like, but even for pieces that, like, I'm still actively working on, like, I think an incredible part of that process is the part where you, like, give it to a director and you let it go. Because then, like, seeing what they are getting out of it without your input, it tells you what you have to change. Because, like, if people are reading it and, like, getting something completely different, it's like, okay, so why are they thinking that? What clues can I leave to guide them in a different way if I need them to go in a different way? Or are they finding something that, like, I put in there that I didn't even know I was putting in there, and that's really strong. That's a strong choice. I want to solidify that a little bit more. So, like, I find that part of the process my favorite part.
Awesome.
Because, like I love a staged reading, but, like, it's just listening to your own words over and over and over again. Once you give it to a team, and for, like, a workshop or for, like, a world premiere, like, that's when you can actually, like, learn what the piece is doing to other people. And it's one of the few chances that you actually get to sit there and learn it there while you can change it, you know?
Getting to just experience what you've made.
Yes.
That's such a unique experience. Like,
it's so much fun.
Yeah?
it's a lot of fun. I've watched grown men sob at my work before, and it is a highlight.
Ooh,
it does feel very nice. So, like, at some point you just kind of gotta let it go. And, like, sometimes shows work, and sometimes they don't, and sometimes it's your fault, and sometimes it's nobody's fault, and sometimes the director or actor just didn't quite get it, but, like, you learn something from it. Yeah.
Experiences like that, say if a play just doesn't read very well, or the team maybe wasn't right in the moment, have you found it easy to then be like, okay, here's what I can do to fix this, or here's what I can do here's what I can do differently, or is it just like, well, on to the next?
It depends on the piece, I feel like. I feel like for some of the stuff where I'm like, it's still very much in flux, I'm still writing, like, sometimes it's, okay, that's not working, this read, like, something's not working, and I don't know what it is. So I can kind of just, like, okay, I know it's not working, so I'm just gonna put it aside. I shouldn't write things one at a time. That's just how it has been a little bit in my career, weirdly enough. But usually if something's not working, I try to give it a little bit of a break and just be like, okay, let it sit for a second. Maybe something will go into the inspiration machine. You can crank something out and it'll be different. There have been moments where, like, an interpretation didn't work perfectly, or, like, someone didn't quite get it, and I could go, okay, cool, so I know what needs to happen. I need to solidify X, Y, and Z so that this doesn't happen again. I saw how we got here, which is, I think, another benefit of, like, that kind of world premiere workshop structure.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure. With having you typically write a play, and that's the play, and then you move on to the next, like, one at a time. you now have 2 projects happening consecutively.
Yes.
So let's talk about those.
Yeah.
I mean, one, having 2 pieces run at Fringe, that must be a wild feeling, or like stretching your brain a little bit in a weird way, or
it's funky.
Yeah, it's funky.
Yeah, it's funky. I'm incredibly lucky in that like I'm not actually self-producing these.
True, yeah, you were able to work with people.
Yeah, I have teams for like the first time in my career, so I'm like,
awesome.
I'm riding that high first and foremost. Is that I'm riding that high. But like I'm not self-producing the entire thing. Like I won a special track in Cannonball, which meant I had the space.
Shout out Cannonball.
Shout out to Cannonball Fest. Shout out to Nick, my lovely producer.
Yeah, Nick.
Nick, lovely, and shout out to PTC and the Text and Dramaturgy cohort. A great little program there, and like I can self-produce a staged reading. I can get 6-7 actors, pay them a little stipend, and go, can you just show up for like 3 hours, and they'll do it.
Yep.
And so like the fact that these things were logistically fairly easy, really helped. Awesome. So let's not sell that part short. I actually am in a very lucky situation. But like the reason I preface it with that is because I've been like going around town, and when I run into like other people and other professionals, they're all very similarly like 2 shows at the same time, huh, Hakvaag? That's what you're doing? And I'm like, I didn't mean for this to happen. It all just kind of happened.
It just worked out.
It just worked out. And also, like, Acute Exposure, one of the productions, is done. I'm not writing it anymore.
Right.
She's done. I'm like, boom. I got to hear the first read. I made a few notes. I changed a couple of things, and I sent it on its way.
Awesome.
And so now I don't have to worry about that. It's done. And so the other play, The Superconductor, like, I am actively working on that, but the draft is done. I'm not writing to a deadline. I finished it last spring, so we're only reading the first hour of the show, so that I have time for, like, audience feedback live in the room, and it's a lot easier to just focus on, like, 1 hour of content, rather than, like, racing to a deadline, or like, oh, we had a rehearsal and now I need to add like 3 scenes real quick and I need to cut a character. I'm not doing that. Like at this point in the game, both of them are in solid enough places that I'm like, okay, cool. The only thing I have to actively worry about is the marketing and getting people into the room.
Right.
Which is a whole different ballgame.
Yes.
But I'm glad I only have to focus on that.
True.
So.
True.
Yeah.
How long has Acute Exposure lived in your brain?
That was my pandemic play.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
You know how everyone was like, Shakespeare wrote King Lear in a pandemic, you can write a King Lear. And everyone was like, I'm going to write a King Lear. And I was like, I'm going to write a queer coming of age story.
Yay.
And it's not going to be King Lear, but it's going to be something. So I had been chatting with a friend before the pandemic. She was like, I'm an emerging director, you're an emerging playwright. What if you wrote something that we could really easily produce, and we like found a Fringe festival somewhere, and we did it. And I was like, that's a great idea. That's a great idea, Becca. Thanks for the idea. And so I had started like thinking about like this thing, and like it was in the inspiration machine. The long-term nuclear waste disposal was just like in my head, and I watched a really interesting documentary on it called The Safest Place on Earth. Oh, cool. Which is about like the worldwide search for a safe place to store radioactive materials while they basically unradioactived themselves, which takes tens of thousands of years. So like somewhere safe. And so I was like, oh, okay, I can just like start writing that. I had a full length under my belt, and I was gonna get started, and then a pandemic happened.
Yes, it did.
And I ended up being able to write that play in about 3 weeks instead of what I assume would probably have been like 6 or 7 months or potentially years. And
the pandemic just put time in a funnel.
I just was sitting there and I was like, well, I've got nothing better to do. Yep. I might as well. So yeah, I wrote that sucker in 3 weeks. And then I read it like among friends for a little bit. I had it workshopped with Richmond Triangle players down in Richmond, Virginia in 2021. Yeah, 2021. And then I didn't touch it for a really long time. I was like sending it to places, and like student orgs were doing it across the country, and like, you know, it was kind of like bouncing around. And then I had an opportunity for a really chill reading in media. And I was like, okay, let me dust this guy off. Let me see how it aged. And I was like, actually, you know, there's not too much work here to do. This is actually pretty good. And so I did some stuff with that reading, and then I submitted it to the Emos Eco Drama Festival, where it won top prize.
Congratulations.
And it's going to Ohio State University next spring.
Hey.
And so I had to have it like done. And I was like, all right. And then with this world premiere with Lemonade Stand, they were like, yeah, this is the world premiere. It's going to be done. And the end result of like all of that is like the world premiere had to have it done. And then Lemonade Stand partnered with 1319 Press, and now it's being published.
Whoa.
So I don't know if that's, I don't know if that announcement's out yet. So and I don't know if it'll be out by the time this goes out.
Okay.
So like
we'll communicate
that.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
That's congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's so cool.
Is that so cool? And like it was very serendipitous that way. And like it just happened to be the script that I've always just kind of been like, yeah, okay. Yeah, boom, okay. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, it's done. It's done. And like, because I do feel like a big part of the process for me is like, you have to finish it. Because I know a lot of people, a lot of respect to some of you who might be listening, who got some projects on your burners and you never finish them. And I love you, and you're all so creative, and you could do it. That could be a cool thing. You gotta do it, and you gotta finish it. So having the first one done, and then just being able to go bam, bam, bam through acute exposure, I think was like very helpful.
Yeah. And especially one that is such a small in like, well, we were talking scope.
It
like,
is my small. It's like it's a two-hander. Yeah.
Yeah, two-hander, two people.
And
you know, my lovely friend Isabel Penn is performing in it, and when I got to talk to them a little bit about it, they were saying how excited and terrified they were of like, this is two. There are two of us.
Yeah.
And that is the show.
That's it. Yeah.
And it covers this very real and honest queer look at like love and connection in a raw way.
Yeah.
Which must have been so lovely to write.
It was fun. It was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt good. It felt good on the reread. Like on the writing,
cool.
I was just kind of like blah, 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 blah.
Right, barfing it out.
I write in waves, so like really, looking back on it, what happened was I spent 3 weeks just going blah with acute exposure in a way that I haven't been able to replicate with any other play.
That means something though, right?
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
That has to mean something.
Yeah.
And it like just came out of you.
It was
and
so easy.
Then it disappeared, and then it came back, and now it's getting all this
and
attention.
You're like, okay, cool. Yeah, no, that was good. And so like looking at it now, I'm like, oh, okay, I see what I was writing about, because now I know what it is. It's that like, it's that feeling of homophobia as an environmental factor that you just have to always be dealing with.
Yeah.
And when you're young and you don't really know how that like is affecting you yet, in the same way that like if you're drinking contaminated water when you're a kid, it affects you when you grow up. So like that kind of like long-term trying to explain what that is, and like the hypervisibility and stuff, I was like, oh, I get what I was trying to say with this. And so it felt good that I was able to do that.
Yeah. And
that like actors are resonating with it in the same way.
Getting to look at something that like, you know, 2020 August wrote. Yeah. To then be informed by now.
Yeah.
Like those have to be two different people.
It's insane. And like in a similar vein, like acute exposure is done. I'm now looking at my first play, As I Was, Not As I Am, and I'm like, oh, wait a second. Like, I was spitting, I was doing some things here. This was a good, this was the play I watched a grown man sob during. I know that it has some merits, but now I can approach it from like a post-pandemic, post-Luigi Mangione world.
Oh wow, yeah.
In a way that like, I think it's really going to affect the piece in a really fun way. And I don't know yet, because I haven't looked at it yet, because I got a lot of things going on. But when I have a minute, I'm going to go back to that piece. This is a threat.
Okay.
And I'm going to make it sadder.
Ooh.
is I think what's happening here. Unfortunately, I think I wrote in 2019 my COVID play, which is insane.
Whoa.
But it's just, noticing patterns of system failures, and the
systems
system
do be failing.
Systems be failing.
They
dude.
be failing.
They just be failing all over.
Could you give me a little bit about As I Was?
As I Was is fun. It's 4 lesbian roommates in North Philly, and one of whom is going through some kind of unexplained, but she's also not going to the doctor because it's expensive, chronic issue. And it's clearly painful, and it's clearly, starting to really affect her life. And so her 2 of her roommates decide to set her car on fire so that she can collect on the insurance.
Ah, there it is.
And it's about, it's about the 4 of them and how their friendships all overlap with each other, and the things that you do for somebody who you care about. And what I remember really trying to hit, and I think in a world where I similarly do acute exposure, when I go back to it and I open it and I go, oh, I was saying something. I think the thing that's gonna stand out about it is the struggle against a system that doesn't care. And when you are someone like myself, I recognize this in me, of someone who likes to have control over themselves, their situation, and in more toxic ways, over their friends and how their friends view them and how they interact with their friends.
Yeah.
Your friend's health becomes something that you think you can control. Or you think you can control your loved one's health if you just tried a little harder, or if you just maybe if you had a few more resources, or maybe you just need to go to the right doctor. But at the end of the day, you can't control you or anyone else's health, especially when there are systems making it impossible, even if it was something that you could mitigate.
Yeah.
And so that it's very early 20s of me.
Yeah.
You can tell I wrote it when I was 21, because it's just why can't I control anything in my life kind of piece. And I'm really excited to revisit it as a 27-year-old going, why can't I control anything?
But
in
different
my life,
though.
But different. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is such a cool.
That one. Hi, Philly theater scene. It's just you and me now in the room. That one's looking for a world premiere. And it was a semi-finalist for the Princess Grace Award in 2021.
And boom.
Boom. Boom. So if you want a tight little four-hander, that you could just put up real easy during June, you know where to get me.
To those producing.
Yeah, to those producing. Hi.
Hello.
It'd be cool. It's set in Philly. I'd love it to premiere in Philly. That'd be cool.
That'd be so sick.
That'd be sick.
And you really did write your COVID play right before. That is. That's wild.
It's crazy, especially now as someone who remains to be COVID conscious of course. Lives with somebody who is disabled, and all of this has just been something we've been talking about, and now I'm now I get to turn back to my writing from the before times and see how that affected it. So yeah, we're gonna see. It'll be fun.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
And with this third piece, with the second of your pieces being put on in Fringe, the Superconductor, that, as we were saying, isn't done yet.
No.
You're able to just have a reading of this. So as opposed to getting to see Acute Exposure premiere and exist and be done, then still having this other thing, even after, and then to be oh, this isn't done yet.
Nope.
But then I get to experience an audience in a different way.
Yeah.
How's that being approached?
It's going to be very fun. This is my largest piece. On the other end of the spectrum is the Superconductor with 6 people in it.
Nice.
And it's bigger in scope, it's bigger in length. And with this one, it is the first time an audience has really heard it. I had one private backyard reading, so technically I have heard it in its entirety before. But other than that, this is kind of the first one. And I'm very excited. I'm being very specific on the kinds of audience feedback that I want. I'm going out of my way to invite physicists and labor organizers as much as I can. If that applies to you, please come. Because those are like the points of view, because that's who I'm writing about. I'm writing about a team of physicists and a labor organizer who's there to help the lab unionize.
Yeah.
I want those perspectives in the room giving me feedback, even if the feedback is, this would never happen this way, August. August, that's not how that works, you know? And if that's the case, all right, I have to go and I gotta fix it. Mm-hmm. And maybe that'll mean rewriting the whole thing. Maybe it won't. I hope it doesn't, because I kind of like what I have.
Right.
There's 85 pages of that sucker in there, and I really don't want to rewrite all of it. But for that, like, at this stage, it's so fun, like, being able to approach, like, the audience and also, like, the actors of what is sticking out to you and what questions are you leaving with, and, like, if you're performing it, like, what are you being drawn to within these characters? And it's so great hearing all of that. And, like, I know something's gonna surprise me in there. Someone's gonna say something that I'm gonna be like, I've never thought of that before. Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that, like, you could even think of this from that angle. And I'm gonna be able to, like, work on it even more. Like, this is a big piece, and I've just been constantly tinkering with it for like 2 years. So, like, even having more material to work with, I'll be like, yes, yeah.
It's molding something. This is the stage that gets to mold it. Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, the last act is still nice and gooey. It's not baked yet. Last act's nice and gooey. The first 2 acts, I'm kind of like, okay, all right. We've got a nice little thing settling over here, and now after this, because we're only reading the first hour, I get to, like, make adjustments to the first half and then see how that affects the second half, because it's real time. I can't just, like, I have to take all of that and apply it. So
would only showing an audience the first half of a piece then inform your second half based on, like, say, predictions? Like if I saw a piece that didn't have an ending. Yeah. And then I'm like, what? Yeah. But wait, but yeah. and then that's such a unique moment to be like, what do you think would happen? Yeah. Like would that at all change your
That's what
mind?
I'm excited about. Yeah. Like, I have an ending, but, like, one of the questions I'm going to ask, because, like, the sexual conflict in the piece is whether or not they actually vote to unionize. That's the thing that is happening on this day. And so I'm really excited to, like, ask the audience that question, like, based on what you have seen, what do you think is going to happen? And, like, seeing, and maybe not, like, what do you think is going to happen, but, like, what would be satisfying to you if it did happen? Yeah. You know, like there is a way to make not voting for a union satisfying if it's checking off several other boxes. Like, ideologically, I might disagree with that, but if the audience is like, I don't actually want to know if they did it or not, because they're putting ballots into a locked box, like, I don't actually want to know, that's not within the framework of your story right now, it doesn't matter, that's interesting information. Yeah. And I love an ambiguous ending.
Yeah, those are fun.
Those are really fun, and I think they really freak people out. So I'm excited to see, like, what people say on that front. I don't know, like, how much more specific folks can get on that, but, like, that's, like, the thing that they're constantly talking about and debating through the whole show. So I'm excited to see what people's response is. Whew. Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah. To those listening, go check out August's work here in Philly during our Fringe Festival. You want to give us those dates? We could do that at the end also, but...
Yeah, I can give dates. The Superconductor has a reading on September 13th at 1:30 p.m., which is a Saturday. Come after lunch. Acute Exposure opens on, I believe, Wednesday the 24th. Yeah. And then closes on the 28th. And if you wanted to do a Hakvaag double feature, you could see Acute Exposure's closing performance on 2 p.m. on the 28th. That's a Sunday. And then at 5, walk around the corner to the Proscenium at the Drake and come to the second reading of the superconductor. We're only ever going to read the first half. It's not like the first reading is the first half of the play and the second reading is the second half. We're not going to do that.
Only getting the first.
Only getting the first half because they gave me 90 minutes. And the show's over 2 hours long, and you weren't going to get the end anyway.
Right.
So
different format, different time. That'll be another.
If you're in Philly next summer, the Superconductor will be the play that I submit for the PlayPenn Festival, which I get a rating through there when I graduate from the PlayPenn Foundry program. So you can hear the whole thing in July.
In some time.
In 11 months.
Yes.
So,
mark your calendars.
And by then, it shall be fully baked.
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
That's so fun.
Thank you.
I'm excited to see them.
It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. It's nuts.
Wow, yeah. Moving aside from your writing world, I'd love to dive a little bit into your acting world. You went to Temple with the concentration in acting. So you were trained as an actor, primarily, let's say. And you continue to work as an actor here and there. Would you say that you started primarily, like, working as an actor? That's, like, the bulk of what you did?
I think that was the goal. As, as someone who is visibly queer and visibly trans and visibly not thin, acting looked a lot different for me as a 21-year-old than it did for a lot of other people.
For sure.
So a lot of, like, me getting into things was acting in, like, smaller Shakespeare stuff because there's just a lot more flexibility in those roles.
There is.
And I was with Indecker's Theater Productions, who are a great group of people, and they do Shakespeare, like, outside in the park a lot.
Love.
And I did 2 shows with them. And then I didn't actually I was, like, doing other stuff. I would be in things. I was in 24-hour plays, the National, so I went to New York and I got to perform off-Broadway. Technically, I'm using air quotes again. Technically, I've had my off-Broadway debut in that sense. Thank you. But like, like small stuff, like short plays, free Shakespeare in the parks. I only made my professional debut a year ago when I was at Hedgerow for Midsummer.
Oh, yeah.
When I was Bottom, and like that, and I was like 26, and I was like, okay, cool. That took 4 years after graduation, and that makes complete sense because I'm the kind of actor type where my career is not going to take off until I'm salt and pepper and I'm pushing 40. That's something that I've known since I was like 17.
Oh, wow.
I've known it for a long, long time because like, I didn't have the body type of an ingenue, and it went even further away when I transitioned. And so I was like, you know what? When it looks like I could have been at Stonewall, it's gonna be over for you, hoes.
You can't. You will not be ready.
You will not be ready. When I go gray, I am going to be all over the Eastern Seaboard.
Hell yeah.
All over. It's just not going to happen right now.
Right.
Of
course. Bottom's a juicy role, though.
It is. I had a lot of fun on that production. It was wonderfully designed. A cast of 17 people.
Ooh.
Not a single jerk. Every single person was incredibly kind of professional.
You're lying to my face.
I'm not. That's like I walked around for 3 months going like, guys, I don't hate anybody on this cast.
You're all really my friend?
You're
That's
all
so
really,
cool.
You're all really like cool and chill, and I like being here. This is nuts.
That's a dream. That's a dream.
It was really nice. It was really nice.
Yeah.
And so like the goal now is like, okay, I don't think I want to be a full-time professional actor. That comes with a lack of job security that I simply mentally don't enjoy. And so if I get on stage in some capacity once a year, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I love that. And then I also I supplement it with my podcast work and stuff like that. And so I always have something chewing. Yeah. Over here, and I'm like, okay, I'm still using the muscle, I'm still doing it, and every once in a while I start going I'm not an actor anymore. I'm not acting. I'm not doing it. And then I do a few rounds of auditions and I get a few callbacks and I land a show and I go, okay. I am still an actor. Actually, you can leave and you can come back and you can always act because that never goes away. That's true. That's a toolbox that you'll always have. You always have it. And only just grows. Yeah, absolutely. I've really loved growing into being a writer performer, especially for sketch and comedy stuff. that was fun. I did that for the first time last year.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man, I want to do that again. That was really fun and easy.
I want to hear about that real quick.
Yeah,
Let's talk about that.
I was in...
We got a poster right up
it's all right up here.
For our this is audio, so you can't see us, but we have a poster of this wonderful project because Fern was a part of it.
Yeah, Fern was a part of it.
Yeah.
I was in last night at Camp Green Lake. I was on the writing team and performing team for that with the Impulse Control Freaks, who do a myriad of funny shows. So if you see a show by them going on, go catch it because it's always funny. And yeah, it was like a summer camp themed sketch show, and we just had a blast, just sitting in the basement of the Interact Theater, being like, but what if the kid talked with a lisp? Is that funny? Like it was such a fun process.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun with that.
I mean, that's like mixing your worlds, and then also getting to perform it, and then like just being funny with a group of people that want to be funny on stage. Like, that's so cool.
It's fun. I felt very, very glad to be invited onto that project because I was approached by Shaz, who's in Foundry with me, and like, you know, like you were saying about the Actor's Toolbox, like I'm in Foundry, I'm a playwright, but we're sharing pages, and so, you know, I would take the pages and I would do them, I would act them, because that's I'm good at a cold read at this point. And I think, like, through that, weirdly enough, that's kind of what, like, got me back more into some more professional acting, because, like, a room full of professional theater, professional Philly playwrights were like, oh, August can read.
Yeah.
August can deliver a joke.
Yeah.
Excellent. Great. So, like, those two things really kind of fed into each other in a very fun way.
I mean, having the Foundry as that, like, consistent, like, group of like-minded artists, like, that must have been so awesome.
It's so wonderful. It's such a great program. If you're a playwright and you want to, like, do it professionally and, like, have that be your thing, I highly recommend applying. It is like I said, I did that instead of grad school, and I've saved myself a lot of money.
Of course.
You know?
And now finding yourself at the end of it, how would you say the experience is different from, like, joining it and then being, I would imagine, intimidated by the room. Like, of course, that's the first thing to come to mind for me. I was like, I would be
I didn't
scared.
talk for the first 6 months.
Yeah, there it is.
For 6 months, I was like, I am going to let everybody else talk because I don't have opinions and I don't know. Like, I didn't know how to articulate them was also the big thing.
Yeah, not
and,
the
like,
language.
Some point in my second year, and I don't know if it was, like, the Foundry or if it was, like, I just kind of arbitrarily hit whatever number of shows you have to see to be able to talk about theater in, like, a productive way. But something happened, and suddenly I was, like, able to actually, like, talk and, like, be like, the reason that this piece works is X, Y, and Z, so I think that if you change maybe this and this, like, suddenly I have a lot more vocabulary.
Yeah.
And that feels very nice.
And then you hear yourself.
Yes.
And then you're like, I'm now sitting at the other side of the table.
Yeah.
Like,
now, I'm a third year, and we have this great incoming class coming in, and I'm like, I'm not older than these people.
Yeah.
You know? Like...
Yeah, but you had the language.
Yes.
And you're able to then bring them into that same language sphere that you've been able to find. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's a lovely program.
Yay.
It's great.
Ah, awesome. Kind of taking from the writer brain and the actor brain and even, like, the comedy brain, I want to talk about D&D.
Yes, let's get into it.
Because, I mean, August and I have not talked very much before.
No.
But we're going to be able to talk about this a lot because I've been playing this game my entire life. I adore it.
Yes.
I have a current campaign that's 4 years long. I'm a dungeon master.
Nice.
My father was a dungeon master. He taught me. We had a 5-year-long game I had with him.
Nice.
Like, it is truly the most rewarding, collaborative storytelling that I've ever been a part of.
It makes you better at everything.
Literally!
It makes you better at everything.
Everything! As a writer, as an actor, as a listener.
As
like,
a collaborator.
As an improviser.
As a problem solver.
Oh my god. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And, like, I found myself in the Dungeon Master seat pretty much consistently now. I have moments where I play and I love it. And then I also do a camp where I teach children how to play, and that's always lovely.
Oh, yeah.
Because then a child's brain approaching that imagination sphere and world is just
I'm sure
brilliant.
It's a completely different ball game.
And it makes it even better.
Yeah.
But it has truly informed me as a performer in every way, because now I'm able to approach a piece that I'm not that familiar with a readiness to explore a character, with more confidence. And I've also found myself in many other I found myself in a lot more rooms doing improv.
Sure,
like I'm working a lot with side quest theater, and which is very D&D heavy in like role play. But I can confidently be on a stage and listen and understand the people around me. So I just want to know, like, how you got into that, like, and why it's stuck around for you for so long, and then where that's brought you.
Yeah, I mean, same boat. My dad was a first edition Satanic Panic. My grandmother almost like threw out his books in front of him. Like,
it's awesome to hear those stories.
Yeah. He tells me some crazy stories about like old fashioned LARPing, and it's absolutely like how they did it analog back then is really impressive. But similarly, like he and I would always like we're very good at like these like very like talk stories when I was a kid. Like we would just like narrate stories stuff together. And so when I got to a certain I got to a certain age where he was like, oh, you probably might like this. We kind of approached it as like this is also helping you do math, because I was very bad at math.
Okay,
and so my dad was like trying to be like, okay, and this is gonna help you like learn how to like add and multiply and like do things quickly. And we never really had like a campaign, but we would like play at the holidays, and we'd play like when friends from out of town would come in, and so like I had the baseline of like played it on and off through high school. Yeah. And then when I got to college, my now dear friend Brandon Augustine, he was in the theater department with me, and he was in this house of guys who just were always playing TTRPG just constantly. And like some of them were theater people, because he was a theater person. He was like a theater and film double major, I believe. Yeah. Something like that. And he ended up like running a bunch of games, and then our friend JB started running games, and our friend Michael started running games, and there was a summer where like they were like thinking about doing a podcast, so they sat down and they went through like a bunch of different systems, and so not only were we playing D&D, but we crash coursed through like Powered by the Apocalypse, all of their games, and then like another like 2 other different systems, and we just like talked a lot about game design. And I remember like in junior or senior year, I remember sitting in the basement of a house we called the Zoo.
Whoa.
Playing Dungeons and Dragons on this big ass table. And I remember like sitting there and like looking at some aspects of my character and like having like this conversation in character with somebody else, and like the scene ending and me thinking to myself, that's what they're trying to teach me in acting class. They're trying to teach me listening and knowing my character. Yep. And I just did it. Yeah. And that's it. I was like, cool, great, all right. I just saved myself a lot of worry.
Literally.
I did it. I learned how to act.
Figured it out.
I'm done. I did it. All those weird little exercises did nothing. I had to be in a basement rolling some dice. So, yeah, no.
Chekhov who?
Who? I love Michael Chekhov.
Well, but yes, of course.
We love him. But yeah, no, I would say like 100%, like that is like how I just said, like I'm always kind of like squeezing the acting ball, just keeping that muscle engaged. It's 100% through my weekly campaign. Who Brandon still runs a game. We're gonna hit year 5
there
in December.
There it is.
December. And like, it's a weekly game, and I feel so lucky. Like also like as a theater professional, because like our schedules can be so crazy.
Impossible.
I mean, absolutely impossible to schedule around. And I feel like I got very lucky, and I've also like had to tell myself, like as I came out of like the beginning part of the pandemic, like no, you have to prioritize this, because if you lose this, it's never coming back, and you're never going to play a weekly game, and you're not going to hang out with these people again, because we've all gone in wildly different directions now. And so, like, that's what you, like, it was a great lesson in, like, priorities, and, like, you have to put into your friendships what you want to receive back.
Yep.
And, like, there was just, like, a very clear point, like, I moved back to Philly, and I could have just let it slide, and I was like, no, I need to double down, and I need to, like, be invested in this, and not in the way that I was, like, invested while I was depressed during the pandemic, you know?
Of course.
So, like, it absolutely, like, has informed so much, and also just, like, storytelling in general, like, different ways that you can approach stuff, and I've been very lucky to do TTRPG work, like, both casually and in professional areas as well, and it's so cool that I can say that.
Yeah, that's so sick. I would love to pick your brain about 20 Sided Tavern.
That
because,
was fun.
I mean, first of all, such a cool project.
Oh my gosh.
And the way that it's blown up.
It's blown up.
And
it's
become what it has. Like, you were in the room for that.
I was.
Early on.
Talk about, like, luck. Because I saw the playbill listing shared by someone who I don't know why I'm friends with them on Facebook. And it was before the page refreshed.
Whoa.
And I was like, a D&D show for Fringe? What's that about? And it was literally, it was the first staged, it was essentially a workshop production. There were 2 shows. And they had a 2-show run in Philly Fringe. And they were looking for a couple of more local actors. And they had David Andrew Greener Laws, Daggle, who's one of the creators, and Sarah, who's one of the creators, and they had 2 other folks from New York who they had been workshopping through the pandemic with this, and they had a Zoom call, and I was in one of the rooms and all this stuff, and I was like, man, there's dozens and dozens of people in here. I don't know, maybe I'll be lucky, maybe I'll get lucky. I saw in my Zoom room, I was like, I am the only non-male in this room, so maybe I'll get lucky.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. I mean, it was a whole day of auditions.
I mean, yeah.
So I'm sure there were others. But, like, I was like, maybe I'll get lucky. I don't know. And then I got it. I booked the gig, and I was like, that feels, whoa. And, like, they paid me really well. That's what really kind of caught my attention. I was like, wait a second, for 2 performances, you're giving me how much? And, like, I forget what it is now, but I found out that one of the people on the team, the producer, was the producer behind Puffs. And so I was like, this is something that, like, someone who has successfully put a show on Broadway is already on for the Philly Fringe 2-show premiere.
Whoa.
I want to tie my wagon to this horse. What's going on here? And so we had a really lovely time. The first shows, they were so weird. They and they were like bouncing off the walls, but like a lot of the core mechanics were there. The decider, the big dice that they still use was used for those shows. Some of the characters that we used are still in rotation for the cast. Yeah. I've played John Paul Humanman, who is like on this big LED screen now, and it's absolutely nuts to see just how big it's got, because we didn't have projectors. I had a fold-out table, a party hat, and a dream. You know, like that was it.
And now it rests on a Broadway stage with some of the biggest TTRPG names ever.
I would have loved to, like, I actually did. I followed it through. I was in the first New York run. I was their swing, and I did end up going on.
Oh, awesome.
And then I was invited a year later to a company workshop where we all just sat there and we workshopped it. And then I was invited to the off-Broadway auditions. And at that point, I had just accepted this job. My partner lived here. And I was like, in my heart of hearts, I'm not moving to New York City to accept an off-Broadway job that's paying me less than my office job. Yeah. And as fun as that could be, I don't think that I can. But, like, I went to the audition because I was like, you know, an audition with no stakes seems kind of nice. I just kind of want to, like, enjoy it. And I went and I had a lovely time. And they were all very, very sweet. Yeah. And I got the nicest, most personalized rejection email I've ever heard. And I was like, yes, don't worry, I knew I wasn't gonna get this job. Yeah. I told you as much, you know?
I've made peace. And
it's been so lovely seeing where they go. And seeing, like, essentially, like, the dreams that they were talking about in the Philly run fully come to fruition.
Yeah.
Like, beat by beat by beat. It's so impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you give our listeners just a little bit of what the show is about?
Yeah, it is a live D&D experience. There are 3 actors, and they play the warrior, the mage, or the trickster. Mm-hmm. And within those 3 tracks, there are multiple characters, and they embody different archetypes, and they're all very silly.
Yeah.
So, like, John Paul Humanman is 2 halflings standing on top of each other in a trench coat, pretending to be a human man. You know?
Of course.
I mean, it's John Paul.
It's John Paul.
John Paul Humanman talked like this, and he was really knobbly. And like a lot. What's cool is that they partnered up with a app developer. It's kind of like Jackbox. It's not like an app that you have to make an account for. You just you just go in, and there are mini games that the audience can play to help decide how, like, the rolls turn out. And then the actors are on stage, they have D20s, and they roll. And if you get a good roll, you get a good roll, and it's great. Yeah. And sometimes it's not. And they've really grown in, like, their story trees, essentially. Yep. Like, when I was in there was, like, a good ending and a bad ending. And you only really got the bad ending if you failed, like, 3 different things and, like, your party died in the final combat, you know? And, like, these are things that, like, could be mitigated throughout and worked through. And now they have, like, best ending, good ending, mid-ending, bad ending, worst ending. And I'm like, how do you keep track of all of this? They have iPads. That's how they keep track of all of this. It is a very cool production. If you're into technical theater at all, I suggest giving it a look, because they have they have cameras for the dice boxes, they have cameras for the audience, they have mics, they have projections, they got fog machines. The performers themselves are, like, leaping off the walls.
Oh yeah.
Like, I one of the original company members, Natty was part of the original company, and, like, she's doing contortions with her body that I could never dream of doing. Woo. And she's really a powerhouse. So, like, a great show. Really fantastic
show. Having then had the experience of taking that form of storytelling, putting it on stage, having the interactive audience, letting it be different every time, like, now to then take that form and have a podcast, have a long form story that is contained, that is then given to people afterwards. The art of live play. Yes. I mean, live play, to those that don't know, is when a group of folks play a tabletop game and then, you know, give it to an audience. They put it online. It's a show, a long-form show like Critical Role or Dimension 20, and it has become much more mainstream now. Like, I mean, we got Dimension 20 selling out Madison Square Garden. And so dipping your toe in that world, how's that been? And how's that as, like, a storyteller?
I mean, it's, as a nerd, it's a dream come true.
Of course.
Like, you know, like, it really, like, I technically touched something that, like, the fact that I touched something that Abria Iyengar then, like, also is touching currently is, like, the biggest thing in the world. Yeah. But, like, it is, I think it what I like about it is that, like, it's so in the moment, and it's so just kind of, like, off of base instincts, and something that I like in D&D is, like, the after of when you're done playing and you're walking home and you go, okay, well, this became a character beat. Why was that the choice I made? What could have informed that? Oh, maybe it was, like, X, Y, and Z, and then, like, building your own lore around that, and then being able to be like, okay, so, like, the next time something like this happens, or, like, a different situation shows up, you've already shown that you're going to do this. Now you can think about, like, well, what happens if you do it a different way? And so, like, there's so many branches, and, like, as a storyteller, like, it's so character focused that, like, it's so much fun to just, like, have one little guy, and you're like, and I'm creating this, like, weird little story around him, and, like, my goal is to tell that story well. And, like, I don't have to think about the world because that's somebody else's job. Yeah. And I'm just going to focus on doing justice to this one person. Yeah. And that feels very nice.
That's so interesting that as a playwright,
Yeah.
you are a player focus in the game. Like, so you don't find yourself behind the screen very much?
Not very often. Strangely enough, every once in a while, I'll DM like something short form, and I'm dipping my toe more into like 4-session arc campaigns, you know, like I don't have time for,
and that's fair,
for a whole year thing, but like I definitely would love like a crack at doing it like more or doing it differently, but I like not being in charge is also kind of half of it. Like similarly, like to how like I'm not producing these 2 shows in Fringe, so I can relax, and that makes the whole thing so much more enjoyable. What is nice about being an actor is that you're not in charge.
Yes,
you know, that is one of the big benefits. You are not the one making the decisions on the costumes or the set, or the story arc is like the theme of this of the thing being told. Like, is everything okay? Like, you don't have to worry about that. You just got to worry about yourself.
Yeah.
And so, like, in this long-term game that I've played, and then now I'm on the podcast Wing Women, I just have to focus about my character, and the GM's gonna throw stuff at me, and I trust them to throw stuff at me, and then it's my job to interact with it, because
reactionary.
That's just good player behavior, you know? So,
and good playwriting behavior, and good acting behavior.
Yeah.
Because then, like you were saying, you get to write and focus on a story purely for one person, one character, that then influences the world, and the world then influences you. And so that's a completely, like, encapsulating moment of the work you like to do. Yeah. That's so fun. Yeah. You can literally see in the room that we're recording, all of that is the campaign that I'm running currently. Because I have been graced by the gods that one of my lovely friends and players, Ella Carter,
can draw.
Is an artist professionally, and so she's like, because we were even saying how, you know, it informs your work like as actors and writers, even as visual artists. She's drawn like I think 300, 400 pieces for this. It's entirely inevitable. Because it's given her the most inspiration that most things have ever done. Yeah.
In college, I'd have fan art Fridays for myself, where I would just like doodle in the corners of my notebook, because like I had a little bit of illustration. I wasn't pursuing it professionally in any regard anymore, and so I was just like, and now I get to draw my little guys, my little necromancers.
Yeah. Getting to be in a podcast, an audio format and video format, sort of sometimes
for socials mainly.
Makes sense. Getting to then think about a D&D game that is, say, often personal, you know, behind a table with the room, like that is a story that is told for those people. Yeah. To then have to consider that story for an audience. How do you approach that?
That is, it's fun. It's really fun, because even though it is like for other people, like what's fun about that then is that I can make decisions that like the character might not understand, but is a very instinctual, and I meta theatrically am like, okay, the audience will understand that this is happening in response to something else, even if Nino herself doesn't know that. Like, it is one of my favorite things now is like listening back to episodes and seeing like what seeds I'm planting back there. Like, a fun thing for season 3 of Wing Women is that Nino multiple times just offhandedly mentions that she's cursed. And, like, that's just been a fun thing for, like, you know, it's like a character, like, why does she think that? What's going on? And then, like, on a metatextual thing, how do then the other players break that? Because clearly it's affecting Nino in some way, even if they don't believe it either. For context, this is, like, it's set in World War II. There's no magic in this system.
Oh, wow, cool.
So, it is about the only all-female bombing unit in World War II, on the side of the Russians. And they were called night witches because they flew in such shitty planes that they would cut the engine when they were at a high enough altitude to glide silently over Nazi camps and bomb them. Whoa. And then they would mid-air start the engine again and fly away. And Jason Morningstar over at Bully Pulpit Games made this whole game system about it, and it's such an interesting game, and it's brutal, because you only have 4 harm. You get hit 4 times, you die.
Whoa.
You know?
Whoa.
Yeah, it is high risk, high risk, and the characters are dealing with, like, what's nice about that is that, like, it becomes a much more, like, introspective of, like, the characters are dealing with their own shit. But they're also being shot out of the sky by Nazis, so that's an entirely different thing that you also have to contend with, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, it's a fun show. It's a wonderful cast.
Yes.
All Philly locals. So if you do anything after this,
oh yeah,
go
please.
check out that podcast.
Go, because it's on my list.
Yeah.
I got very excited when I saw that about a project you've done.
Mm-hmm.
So please go listen to Wing Women.
Yeah. We are award winning.
Yes, you are. I was gonna mention that. Yes.
Yeah.
You are award winning. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, the Rainbow Rally is really treated as well.
Oh.
They're very sweet over there.
That's so sick.
Yeah. We just won Best Audio Editing for our lovely Julianne's work.
Yo, shout out.
Julianne Kastner does incredible sound design, and does a great job on our show. So there you go. That's that. I'm
gonna pick your brain.
Yeah.
After the podcast.
Yes.
In the future, because we are currently working on a live play.
Ooh, wonderful.
That I'm DMing.
Fun.
And we are all approaching it with no experience
Fun.
in that field, except for this project I'm currently working on, which is very DIY. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And people can keep their eye out on that. But who knows what that looks like yet.
Yeah.
That's so lovely.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. And getting to experience a story with that gravity and that connection to our world.
Yeah.
To then be for an audience like that, like, you can't get that kind of thing out of a written play.
No, it's
to share those stories and that experience and from that perspective.
And
that's really cool.
I feel like this team has also done a really good job of, like, keeping it true to, like, the time period that it is set in. Like, we make all the jokes that we want, like, outside of character, but, like, there are things that, like, caught, like, I made a decision in season 1. I'm the only lesbian on the show. And so when we hit this point in season 1 where, like, we knew we were talking about queerness within our characters, and, like, we knew that's not something you talk about in World War II Russia. And so we were kind of, like, coming up on this point where, like, someone's gonna have to talk about it. Oh wow, who's gonna talk about it? How are we gonna make this show gay now? And Julianne's character, like, opened the door for my character to talk about it. And my character went and slammed that door shut and said, "Don't you dare talk about that with me." And it was so fun to see the light bulb turn on everyone's face of, like, oh, we're exploring something different.
Yeah. And
new and weird, and the only thing that's putting guardrails on this are the dice.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
That's called trust.
Yes, exactly.
That is where that trust comes in.
Yeah.
In the most rewarding.
Yeah.
And like most adrenaline inducing way possible. Yeah. So yeah, congratulations, because that's such a triumph of storytelling, and that's so cool.
It's all Kevin McCann. Talk about a great guy.
Shout out Kevin.
He's a great game master, a great actor. He's also, like, a Philly actor you can just see around. He does great work. So if you ever see him in a cast, you go see it.
Will do.
Yeah.
Shout out Kevin.
Shout out to Kevin. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Wow.
August.
Yeah.
This is a question I ask everybody.
Yes.
It's my favorite question, just because I think it tells me everything I need to know. And it shares a bit of who that person is in, like, a very honest way. Top of your head. Favorite movie?
Ooh. Right now.
Oh, okay.
Right now. Whenever I get asked this question, I go, right now.
Right.
My favorite movie.
Top of your brain. First one.
Top of my brain right now was probably Born in Flames by Lizzie Gordon.
Ooh.
It's a 1990s indie lesbian flick about the United States after Socialist Revolution. And, like, looking at it, like, 10 years later and like seeing that there are still problems. And what's interesting about it is that I don't know if the timeline quite lines up. I think the movie is talking about intersectionality, like the aspect of feminism where your identities cross section on each other. So systems of oppression affect a black lesbian differently than they would affect a black man, because a black lesbian is also dealing with sexism and homophobia, and but they're both dealing with racism.
Right.
And that's a term that was coined in the 90s by Kimberly Crenshaw, and this movie, I think, predates it. But the central core of the movie is about, like, different feminist groups, and clearly they're all from, like, kind of different backgrounds and ideologies and identities, coming together over a central conflict, and how, at what point do you have to put those differences aside and actually do something? And it is such a cool movie, and it is, it's filmed in 1990, and I can't say what the ending is, because it's an incredible ending, and like, it ramps up so dramatically in a really fun way. But you have to remember it was shot in 1990, and the big thing that America was worried about in 1990s was domestic terrorism going after large buildings in America, and violence and destructions towards certain buildings,
right?
That may have gone on to be historically important and destroyed in other politically motivated ways.
I might remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, perhaps, maybe.
Yeah.
It's a really incredible movie. I love it so much.
Oh. Please share the title one more time.
Yeah, it's Born in Flames.
Born in Flames.
Directed by Lizzie Gordon. Lizzie Gordon, also just an incredible lesbian filmmaker.
Ooh. That is awesome.
All of her stuff is very class oriented, which I've always really loved.
I have not heard of this film.
Yeah.
And I am very excited to watch it.
Go. It's I have a Criterion subscription, so that's why I watched it. Born in Flames is actually pretty hard to watch. But if you ever have a Criterion subscription or know somebody who does, that's how you can watch it.
I know people.
I
got a guy.
I'm sure.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Has that? When did you watch it first? Like first time?
It was like within the last year.
So it's relatively new.
Yeah, it was pretty new for us. Me and my partner watched it, and we were just like, we were blown away by it. We had watched Lizzie Gordon's other film, Working Girl, I think it's called, and that's just about a lesbian sex worker, and she's really good at like focusing in on like one character, and and specifically like one woman, and like just painting her in such a neutral but like caring light, and it's just a great character study across the board. Yeah, if you can't find Working Girl is much more common and a lot easier to find. I believe you can get that at the library. So that one, if you just are interested in Lizzie Gordon's work, start with that one.
Cool.
But Born in Flames is like top tier. I need every Queer 101 class to show this, because that's it. That's what it is. We've been having these conversations for decades.
Right.
That's it.
It always cycles.
through. Yeah, that's it.
Well, thank you for sharing. Go watch Born in Flames if you can, because I sure will. Yeah. I make an effort to watch all these movies that people suggest for me.
Nice.
Why not?
Start a letterbox list.
I have.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you.
Nice.
I have a little list in my review and what they it's been great. I found Letterboxd a while ago and I was like, this is so fun. Yeah. Because I got like my brain is very much like, for lack of a better term, Pokemon oriented. Sure. No,
I understand.
Yeah. So whenever there's a collect them all sort of narrative to a thing I can do, I'm like, well, that's awesome. Yeah. I can log a thing.
I can log
and then my log can be seen by other people, and my log can then change, and I can have multiple log. Like, it's just it really takes something in here.
Great.
So yeah. So yeah, to those listening, go check out the Philly Phone Book favorite movies list of all of our past guests and their films because looking at that spread, it's really funny.
Oh, I'm sure.
MK Profit's favorite movie?
Yeah.
SpongeBob. First SpongeBob movie.
That makes sense.
Top.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. And then we got yours, like it right there. Like it's gonna be great. It's so good. Had a friend, Hereditary. Like it's really we cover it all.
All over the place.
My mother, Dark Crystal.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Like, you know, so myself, the Muppet movie. The original Muppet movie.
Of course.
Can't go wrong. Perfect film.
Yeah.
But thank you for sharing.
Yeah, of course. All time, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. But right now, Born in Flames.
Okay. Yeah. Wait a minute.
I can't give 2 answers. That's not allowed.
I've had people give 2 answers.
No, that's fair. Yeah. Yeah,
Nausicaa.
no, I would say Nausicaa is like just because I can see how clearly it influenced my own art. So I'm like I'll always go back to it. I'll always watch it again. I'll throw it on no matter give me any reason. I'll put Nausicaa on.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Nausicaa's great.
It's a great movie.
Miyazaki.
God.
Can't go wrong.
Man.
Have
you ever read the manga?
I have not.
Dude.
Ooh.
He was spitting. The movie is the first volume of I believe 10-volume set.
Oh God.
So.
Oh whoa.
It is. Oh man, I can't do it justice by trying to describe it, but it is absolutely mind-boggling. It is it was the first piece of really speculative sci-fi that I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. It means this.
Miyazaki knows how to explore a world.
Oh my gosh.
And build a world
it's so interesting.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. So check that out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nausicaa.
Yeah.
Great pick. Awesome. Thanks for sharing.
Okay.
Go watch those movies.
Yeah.
Go watch them. Because I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Lovely. So as we move on with this conversation, and we've talked about it a little bit with your projects, but I'd love to know what's the future looking like for August. You know, we've talked about your upbringing, where you started, where you're at now. I'd love to know what the future's looking like, and projects you got cooking, collaborations you're excited about, or just goals in general.
Yeah. I mean, I've got these 2 Fringe shows coming up, and then I can start to think about other things.
Of course.
I'm excited to get the superconductor to a point where I can start sending it places.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see who tackles it. As a playwright, you kind of start subdividing your work in terms of not to say commercial appeal, but in terms of what levels of production would you need for something to actually look the way that you wanted to. And Acute Exposure has always been 2 actors in a black box.
Cool.
Great. Excited.
Yeah.
That like how Issa said, it's the 2 actors and everything else is fun and extra. And will be wonderful to see one day. Superconductor, I gotta have a lab. I gotta have a whole lab. And I gotta have 6 people in that lab, and I'm hopeful that I can send that to I don't know, a few of these bigger fellowships and maybe get a foot in the door in that regard. I'm excited to keep doing Wing Women. We're gonna do that until the war is over. Until we win. Until we beat them.
And that's season 3. Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I don't think next season is the last season. I think if I'm understanding correctly, if I had to guess, we have at least maybe because we're I'm going through my calendar.
Yeah, of course.
We're finishing up recording season 3, which is airing right now. We just aired the season finale, the mid-season finale.
Ooh.
And we're recording the last bit. I think there's maybe 2 more seasons in the can.
There it is.
Perhaps. I would have to check with Kevin about that. Don't hold me to that.
Of
Maybe
course,
we all die.
You never know.
We might die.
Yeah. The dice may say.
That might just be it. So that
So keep your eye on Wing
keep
Woman.
Keep your eye on that. I'd love to get a world premiere, like a 3-week run. World premiere in Philly. That's kind of what my goal is, just artistically, is I want all of my plays to have a Philly premiere.
Yeah.
Because this is the community that I'm in. This is the community I'm writing for a lot of the time. and I don't want to have to travel very far. Very selfishly, I'm like, I want the world premieres because those hold a certain amount of like theater industry currency.
Yep.
If all of them, if I make like the statement like, no, I'm committed to all of my shows having this premiere like within a Philadelphia institution, I think that kind of sends a message, especially like to New York and DC, like these other towns, like, no, the Philly theater scene is like really cool and I really like it here, and so they get my world premieres. So hopefully like these other plays will get to a point where that means something.
Yeah.
And it becomes like notable that is a choice I'm making. And what's fun about like Acute Exposure right now is that for a second I thought that I wasn't actually going to be able to hit that because, like you're an emerging playwright. This is my first world premiere, and there was a world where like Ohio State was going to be my world premiere technically because of this festival that it's in. And I was like, yeah, okay, that's fine, that's cool, but like I want it to be here in the place that I'm calling home. Like I want to build those relationships. So that's kind of the goal. I want my plays to premiere here. I don't really care where they go.
Of course. It's about where they start.
But it's about where they start. It's about like starting them off on that good intention.
Yeah.
And sending them out somewhere else.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's such a good goal. And such a service to the theater community. Yeah. I mean, to have playwrights committed to this city and committed to the community, I mean, means something. Because that becomes reliable. That becomes something you can look forward to. And like you were saying, like that social currency and letting other places know, like, say, New York, that what we're doing here is good. And if you want to see it, you got to come here.
You got to come here if you want to get it first.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's kind of the big thing. Like, people go to New York to see things, like, when they get big. But it is cool if you see it first.
Yeah, that's...
you can see it first in Philly.
That's its honest state. That's where it's first being put on.
Yeah.
First audience.
Yeah, and I think James...
First cast.
Yeah, James Iams is just proving that over and over and over and over again.
Oh, and, wow. Yeah, so true.
And so I'm like, yeah, I know he's like, he has world premieres in other places now, but like, that's like the goal. He always brings it back. Like, he's at the Arden. He's artistic director of the Wilma. So like, all these things are working really well in tandem and coming back to Philly, and we can keep claiming him without being like, hi, remember us? Remember us? Remember when he went here? Like, he does have that relationship still.
There's no surprise.
No,
and people know that that's something.
Yeah, he's one of ours, actually.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. And we are proud of it.
And we're not going to let you forget that.
Nope.
Nope.
Never. Oh, well, that's great.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
I wish you the best of luck.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
With that goal in mind, looking at the future of your art and your roots and, making a quote-unquote name for yourself here, I'd love to ask about legacy. Like what that means to you. I did this podcast with the idea of knowing that time is limited. And capturing a moment with someone is very important. And so it makes me think about the future constantly. Yeah. And what you mean to other people when you're gone. And so I would just love to, as succinct or as in-depth as you'd like, what it means to be remembered and how you would like to be remembered.
Sure. I feel like a lot of being remembered is in, like, the connections you make with other people. Like, the biggest example I can think of is, like, Sondheim. Yeah. Like, when he died, like, people were crawling out of the woodwork being like, he left me a voicemail, and it picked me up out of my depression, and it, like, saved my life because, like, he showed, like, even just, like, a little bit of compassion and, like, a little bit of, like, you can do it. Yep. And mentorship is something that, like, I really have benefited from, one, and two, enjoy doing and giving back. And so I do think it's going to be like, all right, how many people can I bring up with me, right? Like, as I grow and hopefully move up in terms of like scale or professionalism or scope of show or whatever that means to me.
Yeah.
Like, a rising tide lifts all boats. How many friends can I bring with me? On every show I work on, I try to bring a friend, because, like, otherwise I'm going to be there by myself, and I'm not going to have anyone to talk to.
Yep.
And I found out kind of early, I felt pretty lucky when I graduated. I graduated in 2019, so I was 8 months out from the pandemic closing everything, and I got an internship pretty quickly, and I was working Fringe shows pretty quickly, and I had some friends who weren't, and I was like, I can't talk to those people, that would be rude. And so who else is like working here with me? That's the person that I can like really connect to. And okay, well, if that's the only person I can connect to, I need to make sure that these other people are here with me then. And that also like ties into like a larger community thing of like, there aren't a lot of roles for butch lesbians. There aren't a lot of roles for trans people. There aren't a ton of roles for fat people, even if it's not baked in the writing. These are things you have to actively like be elbowing and creating space for. So that's kind of like the goal and what I hope to do. And then as a result, what I leave behind is that like we made space, and like it wasn't just that one person got a prestigious award or like one person made it onto Broadway. It was that I got to a point and I made sure that I had other people with me and that I could like help them get to where they want to go. That's kind of the goal.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, art in itself needs loyalty, right? Like there's a sense of community that is created, especially in theater. Like we were saying before, you know, you need everybody in that room to make something happen.
Yeah.
To then continue to move forward, those communities don't go away.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you got your high school cast crying on your last show.
Yeah.
It's that connection that is made in such a raw and real way in that very limited amount of time. That not a lot of like jobs allow, and so I find it very valiant and wonderful that is something that we get to experience, something that you want to bring forward with your work. I agree in the same way. I've told my friends plenty of times that like no matter where I end up, I'm taking you with me.
Yeah. Because
why wouldn't I?
Yeah, you can't do it by yourself.
You can't do it by yourself. You can't do any of it by yourself.
No.
And why would you want to?
You don't want to.
Like, you don't.
No.
You just don't.
No.
And so that's lovely.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've already made strides in that. So congratulations.
I hope so. I keep throwing names at people. That's all I do. I go, have you heard of this person?
And that's important.
Yeah.
That's really important.
Yeah.
Like, you never know who that helps in what moment and what day and what event, and like I've had plenty of opportunities that have been like gifted to me from a mentor or a friend that just happened to say my name and passerby, and it's been so important. And so
it changes a lot of things.
It does
very quickly. So
it's a domino game, but in a really cool one.
It makes a cool shape at the end.
A cool shape, and it's always going, and it's different colors. And, it's fun. Going up a hill sometimes. Yeah, that's how does it go up the hill, but it still falls.
I don't know.
Who knows? Yeah. Well, that just about wraps up our conversation.
Wow.
2 things before you go. I want this, project to grow and be informed by all kinds of voices in the Philly scene, and so I would love a recommendation. Someone that you would think would do well in this format, that has a story to share that I could pick the brain of.
Reach out to Boris Dansbury.
Ooh,
they are a UArts alum.
Shout out.
They R.I.P. They're a UArts
Sounding alarm.
They graduated, I believe, the year after me, so 2020. They are doing a show in Fringe called Changing My Major to Joan. Yes, based off of the Fun Home song.
Fun Home.
It's a cabaret about transness and Joan of Arc. And I caught it when they first did it back in 2021, and it was so raw, and it was so well performed, and like clearly like had a lot of like emotional weight behind it, and I'm so excited to see like how it's changed in the last 3 years. I'm excited to see them back on stage. So I would reach out to them. They're a great person.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, I could sit here and I could keep going.
Yes, of
Let me
course.
just go through all the Foundry playwrights.
You can just say Foundry in general.
The Foundry, everyone who comes out of there are wonderful people.
Yeah.
And incredibly talented. So, except for me, of course.
Oh. Oh, shush. We don't want to hear any of that. You've talked to me for more than an hour about how that's not true, so I'd like to not hear that at all. Yes, thank you for the recommendation. I'll take it. Yeah, that's great.
Can I throw out another one?
Please.
You could reach out to Jack McManus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jack McManus, yes.
Are they on your list?
They are not on my list, but I know of.
Yes. No, I'm sure Michael's told you about that show. Because they're doing a Fringe show. They're doing a solo show called Traffic Cam, and it's about Jack competing for the audience's vote to be elected, to win, I think to win, world's most perfect person. And Jack is just such a joy to chat with. I've really enjoyed getting to know them over the last few months, and I'm really excited to see this show. Jeff Katz is doing some of like I believe, it's not the projection design, but just the film design of what's happening, and some of the other like multimedia stuff. And Jeff's work is also incredible. Jeff Katz is another name.
All right.
I don't know if he's planning on performing anything anytime soon, but he did a Pride Month show in Old City called Capability Pink. And it was so interesting. It was a drag show, and it was so smart. And it was so interesting, and I think about it every time I throw something out. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah. Like it was such a good piece. I'm still talking about it. So and I saw it a year ago. So
that's good art.
Yeah. So those are some names I want to uplift here.
Awesome.
This Fringe season especially.
I'm trying to see as many as I can. I'm really excited.
From the PTC Text and Dramaturgy cohort, all of them are great. But I would especially go see Taj Roach's piece, Afterworlds. It's immersive. It's half an hour, I think. Like, it's short. It's short.
Yeah. And
Taj worked on Space Opera this year from Obvious Agency, which was the coolest piece of theater I saw all year. And I can't even really say that because, like, it was its own thing. It was a 7-day, like, kind of TTRPG lived experience theatrical show. It was so cool. And my partner did paper goods design for it, so we got to go, and I was like, it was so impressive, and it was so speculative sci-fi, and it was about collective decision making and like how TTRPGs like facilitate that and then that allow you to imagine these kinds of things. And Tosh is just kind of like taking some elements from that, and like bringing his own thing into it, and it's so cool, and it's so well written. It's so beautifully written. So I'm very excited to see how that all like becomes a thing in the space. Yeah. So I'm very much looking forward to that.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's exciting. Okay.
Yeah.
I got them all jotted down. Thank you for that.
Good, of course.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yay, Fringe. Fringe. Shout out Fringe.
Shout out Fringe. Shout out Cannonball.
Yeah, I'm doing a piece with my mother once read. It's a children's theater.
Yes.
Ava Keppel and Rose Farrell. We're doing a show called Overworld. And it's inspired by Minecraft.
Yes.
It is a Minecraft piece that is taken apart, like, how do I want to phrase this? Because it's weird. It's just dissecting purpose and like this single player mentality, and then also Gen Alpha and their comedy, and like the Minecraft movie as a concept, and how clip humor, and but then deconstructing that and then looking at it from a lens of creative opportunity and making your reality your own, and then the difference between the reality you create in a game versus the one that you're neglecting in real life.
Yeah.
And so we're taking this like goofy children's puppet show, and then like twisting it on its head. And Rose wrote it, and she's brilliant. And so that's been a joy.
I'm sure.
And so I'll send you the deets for that.
Yeah, please do. My planner is a mess.
Oh yeah, I've already tried being like, okay, I'm gonna go to this one.
No, I do it every year. It's tough. I sit down and on Wednesday I get paid and I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna buy all the tickets.
Yep. It's part of the job.
It's part of the job. I gotta go. Yeah.
But yes, Fringe. Go see a Fringe show.
Go see a Fringe show. Just even see one.
Yeah, even if it's just one. Even if it's a staged reading of like your neighbor.
Yeah.
Just doing something for fun. Just go to it.
Just go.
Because it'll make your September a little bit more.
You can see a lot of theater
joyful.
at Fringe. And a lot of it for pretty cheap, and some of it's pretty good.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
A good amount of it's pretty.
You're gonna find something
good.
you like.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
There's something for everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you, August.
Thank you, Gideon.
This was so fun.
Yes.
This is such a great conversation. I learned so much.
Yes.
Before you go. Where can people find you? How can people contact you? How can people work with you?
Great question. You can find me on Instagram at a.hakvaag. That's spelled H-A-K-V as in vitamin, A-A-G. If you just look up August Hakvaag, it'll come up. I'm the only person in the world with my name. Quite literally, I've checked.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of Hakvaags out there.
A limited number.
There are.
Limited edition.
And that I'm on Instagram. You can also look me up on Facebook if that's still your thing. I'm not on Twitter anymore because it became trash.
Because it's terrible?
Because it's terrible. But if you can also just straight up email me, august.hakvaag@gmail.com. If you want to be put on my little, I'm trying out like an email list for Fringe where like every week I'm sending out like what I'm seeing that week.
Oh, cool.
And like why I'm seeing it and like just kind of like general theater-y updates. I'm going to see how it goes for Fringe and then maybe it'll become like a Substack-y situation where like this, where it's like once a month where it's like, this is what I'm seeing this month and this is what I thought about last month.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
That's a great idea.
We're going to see how it goes. If you're interested in that, if you just kind of want to like be kept up to date on like all those emails, because all those emails also have like the acute exposure run details inside of it and the superconductor readings. If you want that, just send me an email. Let me know if you want to be on it. You can also DM me. Yeah, and you can also look up my website, August Hakvaag, all one word.com. And on there you can also find my new play exchange. Where you can see samples of all of my scripts. All I believe 4 of them are up there right now. The superconductor is not, but it will be after this reading.
Boom.
I will be putting a little sample of that up there. So, yeah, I think those are the best places to find me. Yeah, don't be a stranger.
If you're going to Temple, box office.
Yeah, just swing by the box office. Say hi. I listened to your episode.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Go check them out. See everything they're up to. Everywhere that they've mentioned will be down below in the description of this episode, as well as our newsletter. So go check that out. And keep an eye on our newsletter, as I'll keep updating you all on everything August got going on. Forever now. That's what happens with my guests. It's just a forever commitment.
I got my first newsletter recently, and I was like, wow, what a great little newsletter.
Well, thank you. It's fun. It's been fun. And so join that. That's in the description down below as well. And yes, again, thank you, August.
Of course.
It meant a lot that you did this.
Thank you for having me.
I am very, very happy to know you more and know you better.
Yes.
And I'm excited to see your shows. Go see Acute Exposure. Go see The Superconductor. That's this Fringe. And yeah. Anything else you'd like to say before you go?
Go Birds.
Go Birds!
Go Birds!
Go Birds!
Go Birds!
Season's coming up. Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go.
Here we go. Let's go.
Well, yes. Thank you for spending a little bit of your day listening to this episode. It means a lot. Hopefully you learned something. You got a movie to watch. And you got some plays to see. This was another episode of the Philly Phone Book, a podcast archive. I was your host, Gideon Carroll McDonald. We're streaming pretty much everywhere, so go give us a review and a follow and a like and all the things, and share it with your neighbor. I'd love to meet all of you. And if you want to be on this podcast, let me know. That's what August did.
Yeah. You could just ask.
Yeah.
I thought there was a form.
Yeah, there's a form that I give you after you ask.
Excellent. Okay.
Maybe once I have more episodes in the can, I'll make it more of a public form. But we'll see. And yeah. Thank your SEPTA drivers. Real art is made by real people. And have a great day. Bye-bye.
Yeah, that was fun.